I'm Melanie Ariave, a U.S. Coastie, Blue Scholar, and documentary filmmaker living in South Korea during a global pandemic. During my time here, I've met some incredible human beings, and here are some of them.
I'm Geoffrey Madato Kalimag. I'm originally from the Philippines. My roots come from the northern part, from specifically in the Cagayan province.
Yo, my name is DJ High C. Anyong haseyo, otoke hanggang mal, chokom arayo. Ewan ko sa'yo, ganon din sa'yo. Problemado ba kayo? Sa Koreanong amo mo, ewan ko sa'yo.
I am Sarah Jane. I'm a factory worker here in South Korea. I am from Quezon City, Philippines, and I am 4 years living here in South Korea.
Hi, my name is Elena de la Cruz, and I am a counselor of Seoul Global Center. When I assist migrants from all visa backgrounds living in South Korea.
I am Ariel Bernardo. I'm from Philippines, and I'm the senior pastor of Diaspora International Christian Ministries here in South Korea.
It depends on your status in Korea. Being a factory worker, or those who work menial jobs, hard work in factories, the EPS group. We also have Filipinos married to Koreans. We have students. We have professionals. We have entertainers. So with different and diverse groups of Filipinos in South Korea, we see that their issues also vary.
It's really different. But the good thing is I really prepared my heart before I decided to try working overseas. So I prepared my heart, emotions, physical. I expected the worst. Yeah. I know that this is not really simple, but because I've been hearing about the nature of the work here in Korea. They're saying it's 3D job. It's dangerous, difficult, and dirty. But I found out later on it's not only 3D, it's 5D. Not only difficult, dangerous, and dirty, but it's kind of deadly, and and sometimes your salary is delayed. So 5D. Yeah. The difficulty in dealing with Koreans, because whether we like it or not, it's difficult when you don't know their language. The language barrier is really difficult.
So we start learning how to sing Korean song, like usually like 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000. The most popular Korean music is a techno. Especially they love to dance this like so fast. You know, the Korean ajushi ajuma, they love to dance. You know, I mean like that.
All of my classes are taught in Korean, which I find challenging and gratifying in the same token.
But one common thing for them is discrimination. You know, as a Southeast Asian in South Korea, it is kind of maybe not really felt by the Filipinos, but in general, it's a little bit of related to discrimination.
I also experience discrimination, I would say maltreatment as well. You know, some of my coworkers were very rude at me, and I felt like they love to hurt me like that, throwing anything, like throwing anything to me. So I learned how to do the ninja moves. Yeah.
I am one of the 7 Filipinas who work there. We work alongside native Koreans. However, we aren't treated the same. Amongst the community, discriminations against Filipino is prevalent. For instance, Filipinas work more hours for a lower hourly wage. No work, no pay. When we ask our Korean bosses why do we get paid less an hour compared to the native Korean, the reasoning is because the money we are making is a lot in the Philippines, but the wages we receive or the amount of hours isn't livable.
I have seen that these workers who are working in a small company work more hard than the workers, sometimes than the workers who are working in the biggest company. If I have seen that there's a discrimination with my co-Filipinos, then I really want to fight for the right.
We help those who are being maltreated by their coworkers and their employers. So I've faced a lot of employers, Korean employers. Some are very good, some are very rude. Yeah, people are basically the same. So, and sometimes I would call the help of Korean lawyers and sometimes Korean police officers. Only that we used to receive calls concerning like work-related problems, like delayed salary. Yeah.
2002, I ran away with my employee. Yeah, I ran away because they don't even give me a job, and then they're like, take all my salary. And I was so lonely, and then I don't want to go back to the Philippines. I want to help my family. Even my sisters, they have to go on the studies. That's really fucked up.
And I would go to meet the employers and negotiate, try to really relate to them the situation, because the reason why they keep delaying the salary, because they had no idea. They have no idea what's happening, that this person has a family in the Philippines, that they need this, they need that.
finances is very big issue because with the COVID-19, family members in the Philippines stopped their work there. Their brothers stopped their work, or their income, has been affected in the Philippines. So family members culturally depend on someone who has the means. So they depend on the Filipino migrant worker, the overseas Filipino worker.
Jovert and my family were concerned that we would no longer send remittances, but we both know the reason we're here is because of them. By God's grace, we can continue to support them.
The Filipino is working in Korea. Those who are in the Philippines also expect that, because their family member is from working in a Korea with high income or salary, they change their lifestyle. One thing that I also noticed is that the Filipino migrant worker in Korea, just wanted to give everything to their family members back home.
I work here in South Korea for 2 reasons. First is to financially survive here in South Korea, and also to support my parents and brother in the Philippines.
I came here for money, for economic reason, and I thought there's nothing wrong in going to a country of course, to earn, but I had no idea that there's even more.
They always dance to this song. I'm still marinating some chicken, so I have to go back there, okay? Just
More.
You know what? This is what I tell you right now. So many Filipinos aspire to the Korean dream. Wow, Korean dream, as I do. The Korean dream is to make nearly 6 times the amount of money you'll be making in the Philippines for the same job, really. That's the truth.
I remember days wherein I would just cry alone in the province of Gangwon-do, doing the dirty, difficult, and dangerous job. And I was literally crying and asking the Lord, Lord, I finished, I have this college degree, and now I'm working in the factory. I'm so dirty, and I would just cry for how many days.
But the journey isn't as glamorous as many paint it to be. When COVID-19 impacted the entertainment industry, it reminded me of when I was homeless, living in a subway station. That was yeah. I was like that. Because my dream was to be a DJ and living in South Korea, where I had limited skills for the language and not a lot of contacts. I don't know everyone in South Korea. I struggled personally, professionally, and economically.
They don't know that in my own alone there are tears, there are hatred.
Basically, Koreans are really good. I love them, and I've learned how to deal with them. I would say, regardless of the behavior and attitude of the employers, I would see to it that I'd be able to deal with them.
Take from my experiences, I was able to understand clearly, and I was able to have a deeper grasp about life when I moved to South Korea. It was not difficult in the beginning, but for you to be able to integrate yourself and to understand and to live comfortably in your adopted country, you must learn the language first. And language goes with the culture. And with that, you are able to explore things that maybe give you an opportunity. For those who are interested in Korea, it's not just about K-pop.
But if they're planning to go to Korea for work, right, they have to be prepared. And the reason must be very, very clear. Before you go to a foreign land, why? Why? Do you really go there for your family? Yes, it must be clear. So they have to prepare. They have to prepare mentally, physically, spiritually, and they have to be part of a Filipino community where they will be nurtured, where they will receive proper guidance, where they will have like accountability partners. The problem why people fail most of the time is because they're not accountable. Nobody's checking them because they do whatever they want to do. So as a former factory worker, I know, I've been there, I've done that, I've failed, right? And the reason why I failed, the reason why I went through those challenges and adversities in my life is for me to use those experiences to be a blessing to my fellow Filipinos, not only to my fellow Filipinos, but also other friends from other nations.
Their countries from Southeast Asia are coming here and wanting to have the Korean citizenship. And that's one thing that Korea must take advantage. For those, they have to really make it fast. If they want to retain the professionals, then give everyone, those who are willing, those who are qualified to be Korean citizens, a forecast by 2050, if you don't do anything now at this early, Korea will be probably found itself very uncompetitive, not competitive. If you want to have an acceptable population by the year 2050, you should do something now. Because if you want globalization, people exchange is also part of globalization. Globalization is not only economics, but economics is part of people. If you start opening up the immigration and then without any education, there will be a lot of resistance, strong resistance. If you look at the psyche of Korea, they have what we call Tanil Minjok. Tanil Minjok means homogeneous. We come from one race. That's the exact translation of that, Tanil Minjok. We are one race. So you should not be mixed with anyone. But because of globalization, because of some international marriages, people are starting to change, but not all. They're still looked down in Korean society.